What's up, everybody? My name is Adam. Some of you know me as Headhunter MK118 and the voice of gaming. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day or night. Today I'm coming at you guys with another stream. It's actually been a few days since I've done a stream now, so I do apologize for that. Anyway, today we're going to be checking out some of my builds in Space Engineers, which most of my builds are Star Trek builds. And I just kind of want to just look through my builds, have a little fun, just relax. I'm nearing the end of my current project, my large-scale Star Trek The Original Series U.S.S. Enterprise, which I have right here. But I don't want to work on it right now. That just takes focus, and just I just want to play with my builds. I just want to enjoy them. I don't want to actually build right now. But yeah, so this is one of the many blueprints I've saved of it, since this is the largest project I've ever done for a Space Engineers build, as the thing literally almost eats up the whole PCU. So as a default in Space Engineers, you have a storage space of 100,000 PCU, and with experimental mode enabled, you can increase that to 200,000 PCU. Now, this ship alone, which is the unnamed grid 7349, has 94,506 PCU and 31,500 plus blocks out of the 50,000 max per ship. So yeah, she's a monstrosity, and she's not even finished. I still need to do the bridge and all of that. This is a blueprint version. It's not the official one that I've been working on. The One World, so I actually filled in the whole hull just to see what that would actually look like and whatnot. Having it filled in, which it looks so good, so good. I've done a lot of Star Trek builds in online gaming. I've been building Enterprises since Halo Reach and Halo 4 Forge mode in Halo, and I just never done anything to the quality of this. Like, my work is always professional. I always try and recreate the Enterprise as faithfully as I can, but just the amount of exact detail I was able to get, just the way this area of the grill, inner grill, is shaped, the way these actual rings are shaped and built and designed and whatnot, and how everything looks. I've never been able to truly nail it down as well as I have. On top of it being Space Engineers, so we have rotating Bazaar collectors, we have blinking nav lights, and these are things I could never do with Forge mode. On top of that, the ship flies as well. I actually just filled in the shuttle bay. I think this is how we're going to have it look for when the shuttle bay is closed off, because making it open and closed is beyond me currently. So we'll definitely see how that goes with time. Yeah, it's just, this has been, this is probably one of my favorite recreations of the original series Enterprise, and I don't think I've ever truly understood the proportions of the original series Star Trek Constitution class Enterprise until this build. I've truly just noticed it now. Is you have the hull. So for any classic Enterprise, even the 2009 J.J. Abrams Enterprise, you have the actual main hull, and then you have the warp nacelles, and the warp nacelles are only slightly larger than the actual hull, and then the saucer section, which is almost the width of or the length, I guess, depends on which way you look at it, of the hull, but not quite. And all of those proportions, lead to having the ship the way it is. So I mean, there are some things that I just couldn't do perfectly even with how large this is. Basic window setup here, just so you're like, okay, that's where those set of windows would go in that iconic position. Obviously, that's not how the actual windows are supposed to be set up, but this is only 3 blocks high. To do the windows the way the blocks would actually need to be, it need to be 5 high. But yeah, anyway, so like this thing is just such a massive build. It's been such a huge project, and it's just been such a joy. And I really need to push myself to finish it, but sometimes I just have to take a break and just take pride in the work I've done, because definitely this project has been going on for over a month and a week or so. I mean, on and off building and stuff. I only work on these builds when I want to. That's important. You know, you have to want to do the work and whatnot. That's the key, is you have to really want to do it, because it's not like it's a custom build where I can just, you know, take it at whatever pace I want and, you know, come up with it as I go. I'm recreating a ship, you know, that is iconic, one of the most iconic sci-fi ships of all time. Anyway, doing this Enterprise has been just an absolute blast. Oh man, I am so happy, and once again, I need to push myself to finish it, because this is just beyond insane. Don't know how many downloads it will get on mod.io, because it is, I mean, it's a near perfect recreation of it's the most perfect recreation of the TOS Enterprise that Space Engineers probably ever built. I dare anyone to challenge me and prove me wrong. But anyway, it's just, once again, it literally, if you don't have experimental mode, you literally use up your whole PCU just spawning this in, and once again, it's not even done. So anyway, I just kind of want to show that off, the actual build of the world I have it in. TOS Shipyards. I haven't filled in the saucer section area yet, because like the building area, the slopage of the saucer section is built, but I haven't filled all of this in, because I still need to put armor around. Like, I still need to build actual around the hydrogen thrusters and stuff. I can't have them exposed. I gotta do interiors. This is the connection point from the neck, so I need to do the whole interior work. And that's another thing that's really stumped me on the build, is this is the Starship Enterprise. It's not just like, oh, it's just a ship and stuff, and it's just like, it's kind of like an actual Star Trek model kit from like Polar Lights or something like that, like a large one, like a 1/350 scale or something. Yeah, it's not like, oh, there's hollowed out and it's just like there's no interior. This actually has to have decks, and like, so you have the windows and stuff, so there's no point in me just being half-assed and being like, okay, get to the bridge and stuff. No, I have to actually make an interior. The neck was the first thing I built. That's where I started with the ship. So like, that's why this is already set up and laid out and whatnot. And then I started work on the inside, but I honestly might scrap it all and try to do it in a more organized fashion, because I started doing it with this top area. There's a window above here which I blocked off because there was no point, but so I started doing this sort of hallway setup and whatnot, and then you got a room like that. Not a lot you can do with interiors, and that's the thing. Once again, that's same on the other side, and so it's just a matter of connecting it all. But like, this is what I figured out, and then this area is where the back is. It was never sealed off before, but now it is. This is where the back is and whatnot for the shuttle bay, and this is another option to fly the ship from. This was the original option before I didn't even have the seat, which I still don't have the seat officially since the bridge isn't done. So this is your secondary option for flying the ship, which gives you different views and whatnot. Oh, look, you can kind of glitch it and see my inner structure for the warp nacelle. Very very cool. You can see the grill on that side. You can see the hydrogen thruster sort of layout I got. That's actually pretty dope. I like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so once again, just another option that you can have if you're you know, if you're if the bridge gets destroyed and stuff, then you have a backup, right? So that's important. Yeah, so this is all set up. Close up. Because then this goes down to shuttle base. See, even if I scrap the whole current thing I have near the actual neck and stuff, I feel like I would keep this, but I'm not 100% sure. For the first time, though, this is the actual shuttle bay closed off for the very first time. So that's the first. That's the first time it's ever been closed off, which is pretty cool. Anyway, but yeah. I had plans to change this to unlight this because if you go with no lights, that's pitch black. So I have a lot of work to do with the exterior. See, these are internal thrusters and stuff to allow the ship to descend, aside from the 4 in the hull. See, a part of me almost even wants to just leave it like this, like just almost like the actual model kits, large model kits, and just have it like that, and maybe block out the windows and stuff. But just putting in that extra work to actually make the interior and make it an actual starship, that's the thing, and I just gotta push myself to do it at some point. But I feel like, you know, I also want to get the exterior done too, so I can just start enjoying the whole ship, you know, because for me, like, so, you know, I'm going in circles here, but still, you know, even though we're still close to the end, or there's still work that needs to be done, and it's just a matter of pushing myself to do it, and kind of also wanting to do it, because once again, this isn't stuff you half-ass. This is professional work, and it takes time, and yeah, it just takes a lot of time. So I finally got the spinal cord to the neck done that goes from the impulse engine. Once again, first time I've ever shaped it this accurately. Now, one of the main reasons why I've been able to get even just the slightest details so faithfully accurate is, well, once again, because I am a professional. I've been doing this for years, so I have much experience and knowledge with these ships. But also, I have CGI models this time. I've got access to CGI models, and having a CGI model that I can spin around, zoom in, any little curious thing has really helped. So yeah, not just anyone can do this stuff. That's for sure. It's more than just patience. It's the time. It's the effort. It's, you know, for example, I didn't do it on stream. I said I was going to do it, but then I did it solo. But I needed to extend the height of the pylons. For a long time, the pylons were where this is 3 high, the grill, and they were 2. And I extended it by 2, which made the grills and the pylons the proper height, and it gave the proper profile issue. That the pylons weren't high enough, and so then the nacelles didn't stick up high enough above the saucer section, so it was an issue. It looked good from like above, but you know, just a front issue, that was a problem. And the way it is presented now is proper. And what I had to do was I had to cut the pylon, separate the nacelle as a separate grid. Then I had to put thrusters on the warp nacelle, since there's already batteries, thrusters, there's all of this stuff, but I had to put like thrusters top, bottom, side, and so I could actually fly, put a seat, and then using merge blocks from inside of the pylon and in the nacelle, I had to reconnect that to the new height of the pylon, to the new updated pylon. So I literally had to take the nacelle and pilot it and connect it back on top of the pylon. Then I had to hollow into the now official like solid grid grid, and I had to remove the merge blocks, but because there were so many blocks already connected, it's a solid connection now. Yeah, it's just little things like that. I said that the neck was the first thing I built, and originally it was 3. This area was 3, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So this was 3. It was 1, 2, 3, and then the 1, 2 here instead of there. Okay. Okay, so that was the formula I went with, 3, and then this was 3 as well. Then I had to I realized that the width of the strut, aka the pylon, it was it looked too large compared to the neck, and the neck is supposed to look larger than the width of the or than the length of the pylon. So I had to increase this to a 4, and by increasing that, I also had to build out of this and stuff. So like a lot of work went into, like even when I was like, okay, that's done now, I still had to come back at some point and fix another issue and stuff, and that's just all about getting it right. Anyway, so just I went on a little bit of a chat about that, but definitely some of my most prideful work. This is easily the best TOS Enterprise I've ever built in anything. Build them in Minecraft, Fortnite, but this one tops it all. The level of perfection, and once again, just getting the profile and stuff. I can't wait to get it done. I'm going to figure out how to get a really nice NCC 1701 registry on the top of the saucer section, you better believe. I'm going to figure out how to do it. I don't know if I'm going to do it with Windows like I did for the side of the warp nacelles here, or what, but I'm going to figure it out, and yeah. And hey, and once again, I don't know what to expect when it's going to be done as far as downloads go, because as professional as it is and as impressive of an accomplishment as it is, she's ginormous. She is ginormous, and it is not realistic to expect that a lot of people will spawn it in, because it just is so big, and you won't be able to have much of anything else in your world. But on top of that, some people might even have issues spawning it in general, because I play on an Xbox One X, so I have no issues, but other people might have issues about that. They might have issues with spawning it in, because it is so big, and it has hydrogen thrusters like just phased into other blocks and stuff. That's one thing, is you have to turn off thrusters deal damage to blocks in your advanced settings, because if not, you can't. Everything's phased in. Now, actually, even if you don't do that, you can still use the ship for quite a long time. The thrusters don't even get destroyed, amazingly. I have done tests. You will have the reactors, the large reactors inside of the warp nacelles. There's a variety of them, so you'll have those get destroyed eventually from the flames inside of the nacelles, and you'll see them smoking out of the insides of the warp nacelles, but nothing that will actually prevent the ship from moving. So that if you couldn't tell, the whole ship is built out of heavy blocks. That was one thing. I've done so many builds that I'm just having regrets now, because I built them all in just default blocks, so light armor blocks, and they just shred like paper. And it's just really unfortunate to me, because, like, for example, the UNSC Redemption, which is another build I streamed, that's my custom Halo UNSC frigate that I made out of mega blocks, which measured about 7.5 inches, and it's like 200 blocks, and I turned that into an actual massive custom Halo UNSC ship in Space Engineers. I took a lot of pride of that. That was like a 3-4 week project. Only difference is the whole exterior is done now, and it's just the interior work I have to do. On top of that, I still need to finish the Enterprise D as well. But anyway, so I built that out of light blocks, and I was playing with that earlier today, and I was trying to have fun with it, and I really just couldn't, because it's light blocks and it breaks so easy. Anyway, so let's explain the 4 basic features that you have. You have your hydrogen thrusters. Currently it's on display mode, which means that all the engines are off. Everything is saved as a group, so when you turn this turns on all thrusters inside, all of the thrusters in the warp nacelles and in the saucer section, as well as the thrusters that you saw in the engineering main hull, and those are for ascending. or descending actually. Yeah. Anyway, so right now we actually have the thrusters on, which means we can fly the ship. On top of that, to the right, we have rotating bizarre collectors, so I can turn them off or turn them on. You have the ability to actually go to warp. That is with the jump drive. You press down on the D-pad, and interestingly enough, there is an actual jump drive in each one of the warp nacelles. It makes sense that the warp nacelles actually allow the ship to go to warp. But anyway, and then you have your phasers, main phasers. So that's pretty cool too. Anyway, also on top of that, you can also switch that out for the ability to turn the impulse engines on and off, and you can find that under groups. So impulse engine lights, you can turn those on and off. So you have some customization and stuff. That's the thing with my Star Trek builds, is I always give the user really good angles to fly the ship from, and just so many options and stuff. It's not like, oh, all you see is a saucer section in the front of the nacelles and stuff. Even with this monstrosity, you still have some great flying angles. Okay. So, with the hydrogen thrusters being inside of the warp nacelles, and the saucer section, that means that you are going to see when you're flying it like this, it's just a reality that you're going to see the thruster flames and stuff. It's actually pretty cool because it's not poking out of the top or bottom of the frame of the warp nacelle, but it's coming out of the grills, which is pretty dope actually. Yeah, and uh-oh, we are gonna hit that asteroid. I don't know if I can get her up in time. Oh, wow. No way. What? Oh my gosh. I thought for sure. See, that shows you just how good this thing is, though. Okay, there are a ton of thrusters inside the warp nacelles that allow the ship to slow down and accelerate. But anyway, so yeah, she for a ship that's made out of heavy blocks and fully out of heavy blocks, there's only the bizarre collectors are made out of light blocks. Everything else is heavy blocks. That can be actual blocks. But yeah, that's insane. I thought for sure that we were gonna hit it. But yeah, she is fast. She's fast and she's pretty decently maneuverable. Now there's easily, I'd say, 150 gyroscopes. Over 100 guaranteed. Maybe not 150, but there's a lot. At this point, I just can't wait to get it done. I just really got to push myself to finish it. I mean, I was supposed to freaking record a voiceover today, or like some just voice impressions and stuff, and I just got really tired, and it was like, nope, going to sleep, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, so you have these thrusters coming from the bottom. I wasn't sure how to do it. You also have the thrusters as well. That's just poking out of the pylons right there. You have the 4 iconic thrusters at the top of the saucer section. I like the way that looks. It's definitely a much better look. The way it is on the bottom is kind of iffy. Like, I figured having the 2 on the side would be good, but then I was like, okay, well, we'll do the front 2. And that's why we have display mode. And once again, when you have, let's say you just want to get the ship moving and stuff, and you just want to go at a cruising speed, and you just kind of want to go like forward mainly and turn a little bit using the gyroscopes, all you got to do is, let's say we just want to get it to 25, and literally just turn the engines off, putting it back into display mode. Now the ship will maintain that speed while not losing any of that speed, and you can still turn and stuff. So, you know, yeah, if you're definitely not like a fan of, you know, the ship having the thrusters being like that, once again, that's just the way it needs to be due to, you know, it being space engineers. Because honestly, ion thrusters wouldn't be able to propel it. And hydrogen thrusters means that technically you could try and fly it into a planet, but I wouldn't suggest it. Way before the saucer section was even under construction, it was just a ring. I was crash landing it into planets, and it literally sinks into the ground. It weighed so much then, so I can only imagine now. Anyway, that's enough of this ship. I just wanted to kind of just show it off and whatnot. I mean, I've done many streams and stuff on this build, and I just kind of want to show that off. Now, I'm actually going to be loading into this world that I've kind of prepared, and it's got a bunch of my other Star Trek builds, nowhere near all of them, but a bunch of my other builds. So the Enterprise D, my my miniature, well, not my miniature, but my medium class, reasonable size U.S. Ships and whatnot that have inspired many other Star Trek creators in the Xbox-based engineers community, as well as many other people have taken the build and never given me credit for it. But, you know, when something's good, that's just bound to happen. And my design for the TOS Enterprise and whatnot is, I don't know about famous, but it's the most well-known Enterprise build on Space Engineers Xbox, I guarantee that. This is just the build. This is the look. So yeah, I mean, it is barely a comparison compared to my large scale, but it's got everything, you know. Instead of having a perfectly circular or like curved hull or whatnot, you just got like a basic, more boxy hexagon shape. I mean, that's just, this was the second build I ever did. Mind you, this is the most updated version of it, but you know, it's good in its own way. It's good in its own way. One thing I really like about my, you know, medium scale, because I can't even call it miniature. I mean, it's miniature compared to my large scale TOS Enterprise, but it's medium because I'm actually going to be building a TOS Enterprise Constitution class starship in miniature scale, using it as a small grid, because at some point, one of my future projects is I'm going to be building the Doomsday Machine from Star Trek, the original series, Season 2, my favorite episode, the Doomsday Machine. So that's going to be awesome, and yeah, so I'm going to have to build the TOS Enterprise in actual small blocks so it can actually, you know, proper scale to the Doomsday Machine. I can't wait to do that. That's going to be a fun project. But, you know, one build at a time. Anyway, yeah, I mean, this design is just so well known at, like, you know, once again, if people know that I'm the original creator or not, or completely acknowledge it, whatever, but, you know, this is the one that started it all, and it's good, man. It's good. It's the proportions, you know, yeah, and this thing is maneuverable as hell. Oh my gosh, is it ever. I gotta push myself, after I'm done the large-scale TOS Enterprise, I gotta push myself to finish the Enterprise D. I gotta finish, I have the sausage section size figured out. It's just a matter of actually building the sausage section. See, the big thing that stumped me after I finished the Star Drive section was that I needed to figure out how to make saucer separation a function, because, you know, saucer separation is one of the things that defines a Galaxy class starship, and, you know, the Enterprise D from Star Trek The Next Generation. So that was really big, and I had never done any work with merge blocks. I'd never done any work with rotors and stuff until I did the Bizarre collectors on the large scale 2S Enterprise. So you know, it's just a matter of figuring it out. At first I tried to figure it out with a landing gear, which worked until it didn't, and eventually I manned up and I learned how to use merge blocks, and I figured out the complex way of making it work, and I actually have a seamless connection from the saucer section to the Star Drive section. Like, you literally wouldn't even know it's there. And that phaser strip that you see built into the top of the saucer section, as well, the attachment for the saucer section, the battle bridge, I guess you could call it, that actually still stays there as well. So it's not like, oh, that gets removed or anything. Like, it's still under there. It's so cool. Anyway, I'll probably load up that world that where I've been building an Enterprise D and show you that as well. But oh my gosh, man, that ship is so maneuverable. Like, it's impressive of how well the large scale 2S Enterprise can get up to speed and whatnot. And once again, that would never be possible if it wasn't due to the hydrogen thrusters. But the ship's literally almost 40,000 blocks, and it's built completely out of heavy blocks, so that's an impressive feat. Where these ships are built out of light blocks. Now, another thing about my Enterprise D that's really nice, aside from, you know, the glowing warp nacelles and deflector dish, and just how good I am at, you know, building the ships and nailing the shapes and whatnot, but is that thing is maneuverable as hell. Like, it is so maneuverable, man. And all of the thrusters are internal. You have internal thrusters in the warp nacelles. You have internal, and a crap ton of internal thrusters in the actual hull. And it's a very complex exoskeleton that I built as well. Yeah, I mean, the trick to you know, space engineers is kind of, if you can accept the sort of Minecraft block style building, then you can be impressed with these builds. I remember I shared like I think it was like a build update for the Enterprise D or something on the Star Trek club that I'm a part of. I'm an administrator in, and the dude was like, "Why is it like Minecraft for like a game like this? Like it's just disappointing that it's all blocky." And I'm like, what am I supposed to say? It's like, that's just the way it is. Like, Space Engineers is a far more evolved version of Minecraft. You know, you have blocks, but you also have some circular objects. You have a lot of, you know, triangular ramp shapes and whatnot, and it's a combination of combining those wedge shapes and whatnot to get what you need. But that's what I love about, you know, games like Minecraft or like Space Engineers and whatnot, and there's UNSC Redemption, is you know, you have a certain amount of blocks, you have a certain amount of pieces, and it's your job to make, you know, whatever you're trying to make, whether it be original or recreating a Star Trek ship or whatever you're doing, and it's your job to be like, okay, this is what I have, how do I make that work, how do I make the shapes that I need to what I've got. Because I literally was just on Halo 5 Forge before I did this stream, just looking at my Enterprise D and my TOS Enterprises and some of my you know, builds and Star Trek builds and stuff that I did in that Forge. And the thing with Halo 5 Forge that is so difficult is it's literally what's the world? It's literally CGI, but it's you have a 1,600 piece budget, and you have like every shape. You have every shape, every, you know, every piece under the sun. You have rectangles, you have circles, like you have it all. And it's with all of those pieces and stuff that, you know, you have unlimited possibilities. And that's the rough thing about Halo 5 Forge, as much as I love it and as good as I am at it, is it's literally, you know, if I'm trying to build something like the Enterprise D or the TOS Enterprise and stuff, the hardest things about these Star Trek ships is that their curvature is flawless. You know, all the hulls and all these shapes are so smooth, and they're you know, so organic. Everything connects, and it's very, you know, it's just the way Star Trek ships are. They're so, you know, just smooth. It's so having all these unlimited resources and stuff, and like something like Halo Forge, it means you have to take the step and stuff, and it's like you actually can make it all smooth and flawless and whatnot if you're, you know, if you don't do it half-assed and you put in the time and the work. So it's so much harder. Where this is just like, okay, to get the Enterprise D done the way it is, it's just figuring out, how do I do that Minecraft building formula? How do I get these shapes and whatnot? But when you're like, oh great, I've got this rectangle and stuff, but oh no, I gotta be careful, because if I build this one way, then it might go and cut out into another part of the ship. Like, it's just so much more complex. And dare I say, knowing when you have limited pieces, it makes it easier, because then you're like, okay, this is what I gotta do. My Enterprise D is quite large compared to my TOS ships and whatnot, but, you know, once again, very miniature compared to, well, I mean, not miniature, but much smaller compared to my large-scale TOS Enterprise. I mean, nothing will ever scale the same again when you compare it to my large-scale TOS Enterprise. It just won't, man. It just won't. Okay, look how nice that is. In that shadow and stuff, you got the nav lights. The one thing I've noticed on the Enterprise D is I've never seen the nav lights blink, so at the moment, they're just like that. This thing is awesome. Like, I know it looks, maybe it looks incomplete to you as without the saucer section. Once again, my ass will finish it at some point. I just gotta push myself to do it later on. But you can see that the this thing uses the interior turrets and where all the phaser strips are supposed to be. So on the underside of the warp nacelle pylons, you have one on the actual underside of the hull. You have the main one on top of where the battle bridge is located and the saucer section connects. You also have the one at the two of the back above the shuttle bays, or the cargo bays, or whatever you want to call them. And you have your main phaser strip top and bottom where the nav lights are, which I also have one missile turret or photons or whatever for more firepower. Oh man, this thing kicks ass, and I mean it kicks ass. Like, this thing is tough. Like, it is a tough ship, and I gotta once again just push myself to finish it because yeah, I've been using this ship for so long. It's such a tease and whatnot. I can only imagine all the people. I mean, it's gotten a decent amount of downloads. You know, so, and I can imagine it's like, oh, it's good, but where the fuck is the saucer section? So for the community, if not myself, I need to finish it. But once, like, that saucer section is huge. Like, you don't know how big the saucer section is unless I show you. And just getting that whole phaser strip on top and bottom of the saucer section that wraps around the whole frickin' saucer with interior turrets or a mix of interior turrets and actual missile turrets. Oh my gosh, the firepower. Oh boy, it's gonna be something good. Don't worry, I'll actually show it off in a second. Yeah, so it's just another thing I gotta push myself to do. But the big thing is, like, all this stuff that I do it because I want to, because it takes a lot of time. It's not like a little thing. It's a lot of time. I do believe I did stream my updated Phase 2 Enterprise. So when I first did the Phase 2 Enterprise, which has the exact same saucer section for the TOS Enterprise, update to the hull, where you have the actual photon torpedo launcher there. Then you've got a nice little sort of inner deflector dish, so it's not like the iconic deflector dish, but it's more like the refit, just kind of housed in there. And then this is actually turned off as a default while you have firepower there, but if that gets destroyed. These are combat versions, so they're actually weaponized and stuff. But yeah, so building these pylons like that was the first time I'd ever done that, so it was actually pretty fun. But I needed to increase them, and it still looks weird. I like look at the length of the warp nacelles compared to the length of the saucer. It still feels off. But when I was doing the build and stuff, and still, like, when you compare it to actual, like, images and stuff, it's just the warp nacelles are, like, the proportions are right. It's just weird. I mean, you compare it to the TOS Enterprise, like the default and stuff, and the warp nacelles are noticeably smaller. Still, really cool ship. Just another one. Just another one. U.S.S. Bonaventure, man, she is definitely one of my pride and joys because it's a very rare ship. It actually got an Eagle Moss die-cast model not too long ago, but I remember when I saw this for the very first time in the Star Trek Ships of the Line calendar, the 2005 one, I believe, and it's just like a mix of TOS and NX era. So you have, like, the saucer section, right? Except it's kind of turned on upside down. So instead of slope, or what am I saying? No, the saucer section's angle is always like that. That's my bad. But anyway, so the hull is mixed into the saucer section, and this was fun. I could have I built this completely from scratch too. Instead of like the Enterprise refit where I just cut the saucer section and rebuilt everything new, or the U.S.S. Kelvin where my TOS Kelvin where I kept the saucer section but then rebuilt the warp nacelle and the hull. Yeah, I built this from scratch. So you've got incorporated photons into the front right there. You also have a bunch of incorporated thrusters and stuff for lots of maneuverability. But this thing has a full interior. This is the first Star Trek ship I did that actually has a full interior. And that's why, for me, doing the interior properly on my large-scale TOS Enterprise is so important. Not just because of how awesome the project is and how, you know, it's literally in my most professional exterior ever for a TOS, for my TOS Enterprise, ever built. But I just want to do a really nice interior for it, and I just feel the way it is, it's just not perfect. Like, I want it to, it's hard to describe it. Anyway, so here is the Bonaventure. I was cut a little hole in, so yeah, that whole interior, man, so much time went into this one. This one, oh, she's fun. She's fun. I love it too because the blinking nav lights and stuff just makes the shit feel so much more alive. Okay, so you've got side, like all those thrusters too. It makes the ship feel so alive. Like, those are your impulse engines there. You got your, power to the warp nacelles. Look at that, just turning it, like, and just with the gyroscopes and stuff, you can tell right away by just doing that this ship's got maneuverability on its side. It's a cool ship. I think one of the reasons I did the Bonaventure, aside from it, I just have loved the ship ever since I first saw it, is no one else would do this. This is one that it's not like, oh, it's an Enterprise and it's like someone's gonna build that Enterprise or anything. No one. It's such an obscure, not really well-known ship. Like, it's a real unique and special one. That I knew, like, this one is like, gonna stand out. Real fun, man. I definitely take pride in my work, and that's important. You should. Love the way that thing turned out, all the windows and stuff. So much planning goes into builds like these. Oh my gosh. Just it feels like it's just that perfect mix of TOS. You've got the red Bizarre collectors, which I've done for all my TOS ships instead of the orange. But then you've got that inner just NX style grill and whatnot. Oh, it's nice, man. CC 1000. It's actually the proper registry number too. One thing I'm looking at right now is, why did I put the pylon placement there? I must have done it for a reason. Yeah, because if not, that would have gone there. But is that the better option? I mean, there's no way to have that perfectly in the middle, unless I had literally had them connected as one grill. So, yeah, I'm sure I did it for a reason. Okay, so there's Phase 2 Enterprise. Okay, to the left, UNSC Redemption. Okay, so I did lots of build streams on this. I pretty much built the whole ship live on stream over the many streams I did, starting from the back 8. But that's Orange Franks. Anyway, yeah, so right from the back, like, I'm pretty sure I streamed this right from the start with the engines, bringing out the engines and stuff. And I love this ship to death. This one has just been so fun. Like, this was a big project. You have to understand, like I said, this thing is a 7.5 custom built miniature, like, Halo UNSC ship that I created as a custom build to go along with my Halo Mega Constructs UNSC Infinity Signature Series, which is like almost 3,000. It's over 3,000 pieces. I've got it up on top of one of my display cases. So turning a brick-built ship into an actual physical large ship and space engineers with weapons and decks and just all of this and stuff was a huge undertaking. And it was just a matter of starting from the back and just figuring out as you go. Just literally start with the engines, and this I had this. And then I built this area, and it's like, okay, I kind of want this area. And you can be like, look out over the engines and stuff, and then you have, it's not a lot, but you do have a little bit of firepower that can, you know, defend the back of the ship. Then I built, then when I was building out the fins and whatnot, I built my my miniature Mac cannons, which is like a railgun sort of weapon in the Halo universe. And then you've got a weapons platform here. Got some thrusters there, just little ones. Here are your here are your 4 main thrusters that allow the ship to turn. Got more thrusters incorporated here. Once again, like really cool. Like I'm good at what I do. You have this like cool pattern here, so it's not like, oh, they're just sticking out. Like there's you know, like it's. Man, I don't know. This one took time, but yeah, don't they all? It was fun. And now it's just a matter of actually doing the interior work. Yeah, it just was taking the time to figure out how to turn a brick-built ship that I came up with into an actual like big project like this. In space engineers. So those doors open simultaneously. See, there were some fun learning curves here. So this was the first time for me saving a group. I had a vague idea to do it, but I had never really done it before. So it's, you know, going and saving all these cargo doors so they would open simultaneously. Right? And if you look out here, it's just all open space. Because I just, it's just a lot of interior work that I need to do on yet another build. Yeah, so that was the first for me actually saving groups. And then this, my pride and joy, main pride and joy for this build is this right here. I built these are torpedoes that launch from the momentum of the ship, and if it's not executed right, they'll go back and blow up the ship. So they are armed right now. The warheads right here, they're armed. I couldn't figure out any way to do this. You know, you don't get instructions on this stuff. But anyway, so I've got this, and it also, so it's connected by merge blocks, right? So in the actual like command cabin or whatever you want to call it, I can release the merge blocks and let them go, right? And I've got these thrusters up in here. These are actual small thrusters because it prevents them from losing their momentum and altitude. So like before, when I would fire it, it would go straight and then it would start to ascend for some reason. But having these thrusters keep it, once it drops, it just travels forward, and it doesn't descend, it doesn't ascend, it just travels forward in the direction you sent it. So this is really cool. I still forget sometimes how to do it exactly. You also have this little bridge area here, which is pretty cool, and I guess I still haven't added an official freaking window in it. But yeah, so you can actually be down here and see the torpedoes get launched, which is pretty cool. You have this hangar here, which can actually fit my miniature Pelican, which I did build my my Halo Pelican design in miniature format before doing this build. So I'll show you what that's like. You can see all of the freaking files I saved on my TOS Enterprise while I've been building it. Because some of these I've done these saves and whatnot because I wanted to play with the ship, but other ones were because like better to be safe than sorry, you know. Un momento, Kosovo. I built the UNSC Space Pelican here as mini Halo Space Pelican. Yeah. So this thing will house 2. So the Pelicans will be parked here. Plan that out, or that's going to be there. And then you can actually like fly out the door, but because my Space Pelican doesn't have any thrusters to the side, there was no way to incorporate thrusters into the side. You have thrusters that allow the ship to ascend, 4 on the wings. Descend, which is classic in the actual design of a Pelican. Everything's where it needs to be. Thrusters to slow the ship down, built into the wings. And then your iconic thrusters to propel the ship, right? You've got your landing gear so it can actually land. Pretty basic stuff. But you can see there is no way for me to incorporate thrusters that I see at the moment to the side. Like, putting it there would look stupid. Putting it there, it's even worse. I couldn't put it there if I wanted to. Like, there's just no way to incorporate that into the design. Maybe if I didn't have thrusters there, I could have some sticking out to the side there, but there's just no way to do it. So, you have to be a really good pilot to actually fly out the door, okay? So let's see if I'm a good enough pilot. To, like, turn just right. You have enough room to do it, it's just not easy. I didn't hear anything break. Oh, we hit the wing. So close. Alright, we're good. But anyway, so you can totally do it, man. You can totally do it. But, yeah, pretty cool, eh? Yeah, my mini Halo Space Pelican. Yeah, so, really, really proud of the UNSC Redemption, man. It's a big project. And glad to have it done as far as exterior goes. Still a lot of work to do interior. I'll say it again, but, yeah. So it's cool how you have this thing's almost like a battleship. This ship is, it looks great aesthetically. Being built in light blocks is definitely not the most powerful. It shreds like paper, which once again is a big regret of mine. It's gonna assist you in a fight, pretty much. This ship is gonna assist you in a battle. It's not gonna win it solo. It's not gonna take on a fleet of ships and come out, you know, with a brand new paint job. Okay, like this ship is more like a battleship. You pull up to the side and all your weaponry fires on one side. That's the most effectiveness of the ship. That's your main effectiveness for this ship is you just pull up along the side, boom, 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 blast them up. Yeah, so let me show you the main bridge. Once again, having not done much interior work, this is all of this stuff back here. This is another option for you to fly. If you want an even more zoomed out version of the ship or whatnot. Yes, I like giving the user options for my builds and whatnot. But all of the decks like have been laid out. So where the windows are and stuff, they're actually like laid out, so you can be like, that one deck overlooking the engines. So it's all laid out. It's just a matter of actually doing it. So it's a reactor, so I guess I did a little engine work there. Anyway, I'm getting lost. It's so dark. This is the hardest thing about building in space, and that's why I actually have a world where the official file is. And it's all lit up with spotlights and stuff, so I can build an interior work and stuff. I just haven't been on there in forever. So here's the cool thing about the bridge. It overlooks your whole weapons fire. So you can literally be on the bridge while this thing's in combat, and just watch all of those weapons firing. Like especially this weapons platform right there, where you've got a gauntlet turret and a missile turret, and that does kind of repeat further down and whatnot. You could just watch it firing. It's so cool, man. It just really makes you feel into the battle and whatnot. And this thing doesn't just look good, it flies good too. Once again, main bridge. You got a really good zoom out from the back. And just look at this ship. I take pride in my work. I'm sorry. So if it sounds like, oh, look at my ship, I'm so proud of my ship. I did a good job with the ship. I'm just, yeah, just when you work hard on something, yeah, I just have to take pride in my work. I cannot. So look at that, like the way I did that pattern and stuff, and it gets some really cool like hull lining. I think I'm going to try and do it. It's been so long, I always forget. I got to write this down, how to properly launch the torpedoes without blowing up the ship. But you can see to the side, we have this. So we got the 2 torpedoes. So let's actually move a little bit away from that rock. Look at how fast this thing is. Now, these are your main engines for the back. Look how fast we just accelerated. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so we've got this one to the left. That fires your, simultaneously fires your forward-facing MAC cannons, which is literally, once again, that's just one little rocket launcher there built into the whole thing to make it look like an actual MAC railgun cannon from the Halo universe. So that's just a cool little build I did. Came up with that while doing this. And then you also have your rear-facing MAC cannons. Shoots back. So it's an option. And then you've got your merge blocks here. Now let me see if I can do this, okay? Because normally whenever I try and do it, I can't. I always forget. It's either forward and then up, or it's up and then forward. It's up and then forward, isn't it? We're gonna see if I'm right. Right. Either that or got really lucky. But do you see how they're traveling forward right now? Well, if they hit something, they'll blow up instantly because they're armed. And that's how you do it. Not in that way. I think I got really lucky and it didn't blow up the bottom of the ship. Because if you fail, and once again you can see that that there's still that huge gap and whatnot. Do you see how these 2 engines and stuff, they're kind of tried to shape them circular and stuff, a really cool, unique look for them, I think. But they're not like a perfect circle, but still. And then you can see that there's another one in the middle between those 2. Well, that's actually one of the big things about my design for the UNSC Redemption, is it has those 2 engines and then that one in the middle as sort of an interesting piece, and you have all these fins and stuff. Once again, this was based off of a custom build I did, which is just a miniature, like, 7.5-inch 200-piece miniature ship build. Like, you know, it's nothing impressive, and it's just a matter of figuring out how to turn that brick built ship that I adore, because I don't do too many custom builds with Lego anymore, and turn that into this thing. So once again, sorry from bragging or whatever, I'm just take pride in my work. Anyway, okay, so that's the UNSC Redemption. That's the torpedo function. We flew the Enterprise D, U.S.S. Bonaventure. I mean, no point flying the Phase 2 Enterprise. There's nothing too crazy about that. It flies like the other Enterprises. Very maneuverable, insanely maneuverable. Here are my defense stations. These were actually, I think this was around one of my 5th builds. So this is just an aesthetic piece that you can spawn in. They're very low in pieces. And it's just a really cool aesthetic platform. There's no interior or anything. It's just a cool design and whatnot. And it's very basic firepower. You have 4 Gatling turrets. That's it. That's it. It's just a really cool looking piece that could add to your display and make space feel a little less dark and just have a little bit more. One thing, I love Space Engineers. I love it. I'm so thankful that this game came to Xbox. I've spent I easily spent hundreds of hours already. And the community, that the Space Engineers community club I'm in, so many creative builders, just such a good place, man. Anyway, what is with the lighting? I hate the lighting in this game. Look how dark it is, and then you got that little bit of green. It's just, ugh, I can't. And there's no way you can change the brightness. Nothing. It's just as is. Very unfortunate. This was my very first ship, the Beta 112. I put this thing together to figure out how to actually like make a ship that flies. And then the next build I did was my TOS Enterprise that has going on 900 downloads now, the original. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so you have some batteries, you have some rocket launchers, you got some this. Oh man, it was so long ago. It's a cool ship, eh? For a first build, I'm pretty pleased. You got a really nice zoom out. Don't expect to go anywhere fast. You've only got 2 engines. The gyroscopes that I've got make for a really, really cool look. The way those are placed and whatnot. Even with this being my first build, no stranger when it comes to aesthetics. Okay, so let's see how she flies. Now, mind you that this thing has 2 gyroscopes. It has thrusters at the back. It has no thrusters forward, so it can't slow down. So, alright. There it goes. Instantly, but just turning a little bit, you can tell that there's some serious power to those gyroscopes. Now, because there's no thrusters facing forward, and I didn't even know this, you just kind of got to drift. So I linked the torpedo so they can fire simultaneously. That's pretty dope. Oh, that's cool. Oh man, that's pretty cool. It's a cool looking little ship, isn't it? I don't know. I think it is. I mean, like, it's like really like wide and all that, and then you just look at the freaking front, and it's just like, what? Like it's just so narrow. Just the width of the cockpit. That's it. So I don't know. But that was my first ship. That was my very first. So here's my, if this looks familiar to my miniature Pelican that I spawned in with UNSC Redemption, this was this is the second version, but this was the main build I did, the large scale build I did. And recreating the miniature Pelican was just a matter of building it in small scale. Though it is different because I use the actual small scale cockpit, and this is actually built out of Windows. But yeah, I did this. Now this is the second version of it, which features landing gears instead of having the actual like Gatling gun here. That's iconic to the Pelican. I put a rocket launcher there and I have 2 on the side. But yeah, this is the large build of my Space Pelican that kind of does it all. Now the first version I did doesn't have any thrusters on the top, so it couldn't ascend. Or sorry, it couldn't descend. And that's why I made this version with a beacon and the weaponry change as well as landing gears. Cool thing though, with a little bit more detail, because yeah, it's a bigger build. So you've got this whole little rail and stuff, so it actually feels like maybe it could drop off like a Warthog or something. You've got this cool thruster setup and whatnot. Like, it's cool. It's cool. It's a Pelican, man. What can you say? It's a Halo Space Pelican. But for whether it be the miniature one or my actual large grid one here, it keeps that shape of the Pelican and stuff while still, you know, being a little bit unique on its own. So yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, so here's a strike class. This is actually, I think, the third build I did. This is the most updated version of it, where originally it only had this one thruster here at the front, which is like a really cool look for it, but if you ram into anything, boom, that's gone. So I added these two thrusters more, so now you got a total of 3 thrusters to slow down the ship. You have these 4 thrusters built into the bottom for a really cool look and allows the ship to ascend. Once again, this thing is like a freaking fighter jet, except from the future. Like, it's pretty cool, I think. Of course, I think it's cool. And of course, you got these thrusters in the top, which just really work. This is also like the one ship I've ever done that doesn't have clean armor. So I wanted to make it seem like, you know, it's seen combat and stuff. But I think it's got a really cool side profile and just a really good profile in general. Like, come on, I think that's pretty dope. Once again, it's hard to you know, be like, oh, that's pretty dope, because it's, you know, not really a bias to, or, you know, like, I'm the one who built it, so of course they're gonna be like, yeah, that's a cool looking ship, good for you, Headhunter. Like, fuck, you know, it's my build, so I take pride in my work. Once again, okay, to take pride in your work. Yeah, so that's just some of my stuff, and I got even more stuff where that comes from. Now, I am going to be doing an updated Futurama Planet Express ship. That is on my list, and I will be doing that at some point. Because my first attempt for the Futurama Planet Express ship is decent. I will say to myself that it is decent. I worked hard on it. I had to figure out what color and stuff I got nailed the colors down and stuff, but it is you know, definitely could use a version 2. Still, nailed that lime green, this red and stuff. I did it as a paint wrap instead of an actual rim that goes around the whole ship. This was also a very early build too, so I didn't know how to use rotors or merge blocks or anything. Now, instead of having the wings angled down, now they are the proper shape, they are like built in the proper shape, which is cool. Instead of having them fully angled down, I kind of had them, I settled them for being angled like this, so you have a little bit of slope for sure, and then they're just kind of down, so they bend down a little bit and then they're flat, right? Look, it's flush into the hull, right, too, so that's also like a really clean way of doing it. The way I was able to make it look, but it's still very appealing to the eye, like how it connects and stuff, I think is, you know, very acceptable. It doesn't look out of place or anything. This shaping is right and whatnot. Like it's still really good, and I think it's got like 300 plus downloads or something if I'm remembering correctly. It's just I know I can do better than this. Still, like, it's not too bad. Getting the shape of the engine was definitely interesting. I'll say it like that. It was definitely an interesting thing to do. Okay, why does this look so different? Oh yeah, because it attaches differently. I was looking at it for a second. I was like, huh, what is going on here? I think on version 2, I would make less of an interior and more internal thrusters, because this is a joke. You've got 2 small ion thrusters to slow the ship down. That's it. Now it actually works because this is where torpedo tubes are on the actual Planet Express ships. Though, I mean, there are sometimes weapons fired from it, but I think they had newspapers fired from it at one point. What episode? This is really half-assed, by the way. How I made this just be like, oops, it slopes up. Like the actual, and this is another reason why I feel I need to do this ship. Look how fucking flat that is. How it's actually supposed to be is it's, let me try and trace this, okay? Ugh, I suck at tracing. Ugh, fuck. Anyway, it's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be curved and then come up, not flat and then ugh. So that's one thing that annoys me. It looks like a retarded whale. I don't know, man. I'm just critiquing my work, okay? Like, other people will probably like, oh, this is good. This is a really good build. And I'm not saying that it's not good. I'm just saying it's kind of half-assed, and I know I can do it better. It's just a matter of figuring out how for another time. It's good though. For the time being, hey man, I built it. It's not like I'm, it's someone else's build and, I'm critiquing the work and be like, oh, this could be done so much better. I built it, so I take pride in that. I worked hard on it. I don't do things half-ass. I do it to the best of my ability at that time. So, I'll look back at some of my builds and be like, wow, I can do that so much better now. But at the time, I did the best I could in the moment. This is what I did with the interior. Cargo. Throw it in, boys. That's it. There you go. Just toss it in. This is my interior work right here. Just toss it in that pit. It's like a fucking swimming pool with no water. Okay, clothes are on up. Let's go. There's a little lounge room, just chillax when you're not flying the ship. Do a little do that. And then this is the bridge and stuff. You got your iconic couch at the front. Though it kind of defeats the purpose because you can't really see you've got this whole bridge set up and whatnot. But anyway, the actual way the chairs are and stuff, that's actually proper. Again, as far as zoom outs go, not too bad. Not too bad. It looks good, man. It looks good. I can't bark on it too much. Once again, I did the best I could at the time, and you know, gets the job done. It's got a proper profile. Like, it works out because, for those of you who actually know Futurama and whatnot, the engine is supposed to be angled downwards, right? And then the wings are supposed to be bent down in this same shape as well, right? So, because at the end, because I couldn't do it, and I don't think anyone can build the engine like straight angled downwards while still getting the engine shape right, I had it just angled straight outward, right? And it just worked out the whole you know, because now the engine isn't bent down anymore and the wings don't need to be bent downward, that it just works out and you get, you know, a proper profile if the engine wasn't bent down. So it worked out. Anyway, it just looks like a bus, like it looks like a Boeing airplane with the front being like that and whatnot. And of course you've got your actual turret up at the top. And when I make version 2, guess what? You're gonna be able to be inside that freaking turret and rotate it and shoot it. You're gonna aim up, you're gonna aim down, you're gonna turn it side to side, 360 spin. No fixed shit, fire straight. Again, I'm doing the best I can at the moment. Okay, so there you go. That's your option right there. That's your firepower, ladies and gentlemen. Your main iconic Futurama turret. It fires. It's a fixed object. You can't do anything about it. But yeah, look at all these. Look at like that engine and stuff set up for the, you know, the ship, which is proper. But it's just a matter of you got all these thrusters that make the ship go, and then that's what you got slowing it down. It's a bad joke. Anyway, that's another one of my builds. I have not shown the U.S.S. Kelvin. There's not too much more I haven't shown you. I mean, I could show Atomic Betty's starship. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a Canadian, and Atomic Betty was one of the many shows I grew up with, and definitely one of my personal guilty pleasures. I mean, it's up there with like Kim Possible, Totally Spies. Sure, there are more that I can't think of right now. But yeah, Atomic Betty. For those of you who've never seen Atomic Betty, that's badass, man. Atomic Betty's awesome. Really, really awesome Canadian TV show. I mean, we have some awesome shows. 16 originated in Canada, came over to America. Yeah, that came from us. All right. So, oh, and on top of that, probably more well-known, Total Drama Island and that whole series. Same voice actor as Jude from 16. So actually, my twin sister got to meet him. Jealous. Oh my gosh, my twin sister got to meet him. I'm so jealous. Like, why'd I have to say it like that? I don't know. Any person who does impressions and whatnot has that stereotypical bitch voice. Like, oh my god, what the fuck? I'm sorry if you're totally like getting turned off and stuff. I would be too. It's just one of those things that it's like, you know, for me there are impressions I can do, but I just don't care about the voice. All the voices I mainly do, I do because I care. But then a voice like Mickey Mouse, ha 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 ha, oh boy. Oh man, my voice isn't there. But you know, there are just some voices I can do, and I just don't care about it. I can do it, I could care less. It's one of those things. It's another voice I can do. Okay, so the most updated version of the U.S.S. Kelvin. See, the thing with I've got the most updated versions of my files and stuff, even if the whole community hasn't, because I changed this whole slopage. I much more prefer this. I find it a lot more sleek and whatnot, instead of the more boxy component I had for the bottom, which I could show the difference if you really want. But do you see how this is like, okay, this, and it slopes down and it slopes down? Well, instead of being like that, it would be like, instead of this being there, it'd be right there, right? And it'd just go whoop, instead of whoop, 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 and kind of more like a staircase. It's more sleek and just better, but yeah, so U.S.S. Kelvin.
This is the
U.S. Kelvin, of course. So what I had to do, what I actually had to do was I kept the saucer section, right? Then I had to build each pylon. Then I had to build a nacelle, and then I had to rebuild the hull from scratch. So, like, it still takes time and stuff to do this. You know, even a build like that. Even though I keep the saucer section and save myself the time on that, I still had to rebuild the whole hull, and I had to build a nacelle. Now, if I was more of an experienced player at the time, maybe I might have done thing. I might have actually used merge blocks and stuff and reconnected the hull and stuff like that, so I didn't have to rebuild it and whatnot. But that's what I did at the time. So this thing's actually a really cool ship. Some of these TOS ships and stuff, I've outfitted them in different ways. So you can, instead of having like just nothing but Gatling turrets, or as I would call them, phaser turrets, you can actually see you have the two facing off on each side, as well as the one facing forward. But then you have missile turrets, aka photon turrets, on the side of the nav lights. So that offers a lot more firepower opportunities. Then you have your main photon turret right at the bottom of the saucer section, as always, and then you have one on the back of the warp nacelle as well as your two iconic Gatling turret phaser turrets on the back, on the side, like on the side of the warp nacelle. So yeah, just another one of my builds. Thought I'd show that one off. Now, oh yeah, that's right, I was gonna show off the Atomic Betty. I was gonna show off Atomic Betty's starship. Okay, so I think Atomic Betty's starship needs a version 2 as well, because it's a cool ship, but it's a joke, because it's literally got 3 thrusters to allow the ship to ascend, no thrusters to allow the ship to descend, and 4 thrusters to propel the ship, no thrusters, 2 thrusters to slow the ship down. So it's only missing thrusters to actually ascend, but ascend, no descend. But aside from that, like, it's not too bad. Okay, where is that? Here it is, Atomic Betty Star Cruiser. It's not, did I say Starship? It's a Star Cruiser. Okay, so this was a fun build too. Once again, Atomic Betty, a really cool Canadian TV show. If you're looking for something different, give it a try. It is awesome. ECU limit reached my butt. Okay. What do I want to delete? Yeah, I don't need that. This is why I don't download a lot of like blueprints and stuff from the other communities. I have so much shit as it is. I have enough to cycle through as it is. Okay. As Optimus Prime would say, please let this work. There we go. Okay, so this is a really cool ship. Getting the curvature and stuff right took a little bit of time to figure out. It's just a matter of figuring out like how to build that paneling and whatnot. So you see, I was able to incorporate 2 thrusters here into the design. That just made sense. Once again, I doubt that you guys have ever seen Atomic Betty. But this is kind of how the ship is. Now, the actual hull itself is like a lot more smoother and curved and stuff, but this is the gist of it. Cockpit is blue like that, so that's cool, and it has these really cool fins and stuff, so that was a great way to incorporate the thrusters. It's a unique looking build. Then I actually welded down these tires and stuff to get that ring like that for the actual like sort of antenna there. Comes down to, it's a really cool ship, but you know, it's just not very practical as far as use, because it's got, you know, 4 thrusters to propel itself, 2 thrusters to slow it down, 3 thrusters to ascend, and no thrusters to descend. So yeah. Not too bad for the interior either. You have your door here. As interiors get, you know, it's clean. Back wall there, you got some windows. Like, you're not going to be able to do a lot with this little bit of space anyway. And then yeah, just sit there, no other seats or whatnot. And the actual bridge of the ship in Atomic Betty is far different. It's a cool looking ship. Even if you know, don't know it, or you can at least appreciate it for that. It's a cool looking ship. Definitely, in my opinion, one of the most unique cartoon ships I've at least ever seen. Yeah. So with 4 thrusters and 2 thrusters forward, it's it's not the fastest, it's not the most practical to fly or whatnot, but it's still another cool creation of mine. And it's just once again one of those things like, okay, people building the Futurama Planet Express ship doesn't happen a lot, but it's happened, Atomic Betty Starship, I'm not a betting man, but I'm willing to bet that I'm the first one to build that, because what other Canadian's gonna build a ship like that from just a show? Anyway. Okay, so is there anything I haven't shown off? Strike class, the Pelicans, Type F shuttlecraft, yeah. And that's pretty much the gist, man. That's the main my work. Victory class is like, my small dry dock is just a dry dock. There's nothing much more than that. Star Voyager, Star Voyager is cool. Star Voyager, the Star Voyager was my first original build that I put like a lot of thought into making it a unique design. I believe I started with the back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I started with the back of the engines. So this is a cool ship. A lot of effort went into to making this as smooth and curved as it is. So you've got all of these slopes and angles and stuff, right? And then you've actually got this bit of curvature right here, which you can see. And then it just goes off to this, which has thrusters to slow the ship down. It is a cool ship. You've got a really cool area here. Allows for 4 thrusters to allow the ship to descend or ascend. I always get that wrong. I always say it the wrong way. You got a little bar in between there. This was cool too. I wanted to incorporate like something like unique and stuff. So from down here, you can actually see some reactors, which is pretty cool. In this area, you actually have antennas as well as thrusters to allow the ship to descend. 2 beacons. You can never have both of them in the same time, or they would both say Star Voyager. So there's that. More thrusters to allow the ship to ascend. More thrusters to slow the ship down. You have 2 rocket turrets at the front. As far as the design goes for that, it's just never smart to put your thrusters there, because you smash into something and it's the first thing that goes. But that is like that. Really cool look from the side there with that thruster too. Honestly, it would make more sense for me to have the thrusters, the weapons sticking out there. I feel like, I don't know, but then again, that does look kind of cool the way that is too. Those thrusters are. I do kind of like that, but it's a lot more practical. Thing I'd have to think about. This is cool though too. I like the way the thrusters are here, sticking out like that. I think that's pretty cool. And then you have all of these doors, right? And these are airlock doors, but they don't work. I don't think I barely even knew what the piece was at the time. But this is an actual, and then 2 gyroscopes there. As far as aesthetics go, it looks cool. But as far as smart goes, putting 2 gyroscopes, that's a pretty easy target. But it's a really cool thing to enter the ship. And then you open the door, You got very basic interior. You go here, you like buttons. It gives you some option. You got some cargo containers. You got some more gyroscopes here for a kind of a unique look. So this is actually, I think, my first actual thought out interior. You're never gonna have a perfectly centered look too, because the chairs to the sides, so there's that. It's a cool ship, though. I put a lot of thought into the design of this one. Really nice top look, I think. What do you think of that? For me, aesthetics have always mattered. It's a good-looking ship. Then I have a weaponized version of it, which I call the defense class. It's cool. It's cool. I rarely play with it, rarely spawn it in, but it's there. Oh, I guess I didn't have them simultaneously linked. They are there. Anyway. Okay, so I think that's about it for this world's offer. Now, I've been streaming for a bit, and I haven't really played with the ships the way I planned to, but I was talking about the Enterprise D saucer separation, and I still kind of want to show that off. So, to a shipyard, so you can see that the actual Enterprise there doesn't have the actual filled-in saucer section like I was talking about earlier. That's because that's the actual build site for it. To shipyards, I've built everything there. I've at least done the combat. The Phase 2 Enterprise have done the I did the U.S.S. Kelvin there. I'm doing the large-scale TOS Enterprise. So yeah, a lot of ships have actually built in that TOS Shipyards world. Alright, Space Dock War, that's literally the most iconic world I have. Okay, Enterprise D Saucer 2. I actually have quite a few saves for the Enterprise D, with one dating back to one of the where the hull was just barely being built. Okay. Welcome to. Okay, so I thought I was already in the save. Okay, so I haven't done a lot of work, but I figured out the ring size. So it took a lot of time actually to figure out what oval size I needed to get it right. Because the thing with the sausage section is the sausage section is so big that you can actually fit the whole hull inside of the sausage section. That's how big of a size there is. So it's actually larger than the warp nacelles and the star drive section, the main hull that you can see visible. Just slightly. So it's a matter of getting that. It might seem a little bit crazy, but that's actually proper. So yeah, that's how the sausage is gonna look when it's actually there. Once again, it might seem a little bit big, but when you look at an angle like that, it's not at all. It's just that big. Cool thing is, today I'm gonna show you the actual sausage separation feature. So that's how it would look, fully complete. Imagine that being filled in and stuff. That's what you gotta do because it's not actually done yet. But yeah, it's gonna be something, man. Just like, once again, it's thanks to having like my circle charts and my oval chart generators and stuff, the resources that I have, you know, to doing these builds to get it right. You know how like the sausage section is flat, it's even, but it looks like it's drooping down? Well, yeah, that's what you get with this. You can tell that it's right because like it looks like it's drooping down right now, but you know that's flat. It's just the way the oval looks, and that's the interesting thing about the Enterprise D. Okay, so, but for people, if I didn't say, hey, this ship could separate, like the sausage section could separate, I bet that you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Look at this. Okay, yeah, the impulse engine here. Star drive impulse engine. Oh, wow, that zoomed out. Okay. Let's go for a walk. There's cargo bays 2 and 3. Where can you tell that it actually isn't a solid object? And what you can see is that this is at like that, but then that's block. I gotta build it out as a slope all the way around. Anyway, enough of the procrastinating. I do way too much of that. Let me show you how the sausage separation works and the complex design behind actually making it separate. This, figuring out how to make sausage separation, I think took around probably 30 to 40 hours in itself. It was a long process, a very complex process. Okay, so you have your, press up on the D-pad, you can see that's a merge block option. Check this out. What just happened is we just separated the ship into 2 grids. By using merge blocks, we can allow the sausage section to save as one piece. Check this out. Look at that. So this is the sausage section separated. So like when the whole sausage section is done, you'll actually be able to separate it and have it like this. Cool thing is though, this is what the star drive section officially will look on the actual version, on the full version of the Enterprise D when the sausage section is separated. You can see that you have those 3 connection points for the merge blocks. Those are your 3 connections. But look, the phaser strip is still there. I told you that it's buried inside. And it's actually still there. So the official version of the star drive section, you will be able to keep the phaser strip. Pretty cool, right? Yeah. So the actual area of the sausage section connection on the actual Enterprise D is bent much down. See how like it goes doop and then it slopes down a little bit and becomes a solid piece. It was the best way I could create it. I mean, I still look at my neck, the neck of this build sometime, and I'm disappointed, and I wish I could do it a bit better, but I got nothing. Yeah, it makes mine look unique at least. You got the front profile perfectly though. It's thin, and then it starts to curves out. Like, so all of that shaping is right. It's just the presentation of it is kind of iffy. But I can't second guess my work. Now, the one thing that you do kind of have to deal with on the official version of the Enterprise D when the sausage section is separated is this little trench right here. See this little trench here, right here? Do you see that? How it's like sloped in from each side, and it's a trench. That's well, that actually allows it to seamlessly connect. See how that's so sloped, and then that slopes in with the natural sloping of the neck. It's that trench in this complex build that allows the blocks to touch but still be able to separate. It was very complex to figure out. Once again, the phaser strip, the 3 merge blocks, and then look at this. You have all of these blocks, right? Then have all of these sloping. So it's touching here, but it's not touching there, because if this was a full block and just proper block, it wouldn't be able to separate. It would get stuck together. And the hardest thing about all of this was doing it like while it was still attached as one piece. That was the hardest thing. And figuring like, oh man, I can't even think back to then. It was just so much work. But it's this complex build that allows for that flawless, seamless connection. It was not easy. Minimum of 40 hours. Figure that out. Not easy, not fun. Got it done. Now I just got to build the sausage section at some point. Alright, and now let's see how easy we can do. It's been a little bit, but let's see. Let's reconnect it, alright? Let's do it. Now, remember, this is built out of light blocks, so be gentle. Sausage connection and separation is gotta be gentle. So there are two ways you can do it. You can bump into it and then press up on the D-pad to reconnect the merge blocks, or you can connect the merge blocks automatically, so when it does connect, it will seamlessly just go boop. Like that. And now, once again, it is one grid. Now, me, I have OCD, so I like to be really sure that it connected properly and I'm not going to have any issues, so I'll just connect it one more, make sure that's good. Again, you can tell it's separate. And now it's good. Once again, this view, this zoom out view, this, when the whole ship is done, this isn't going to change. This is as is. This is your front view. Come on, man. What more can you ask for? That is such a nice front view for the ship. That's your max zoom out. You're gonna get some really, really nice under the saucer section angles and whatnot when this thing is done. Really awesome. Really awesome stuff. You can have like a classic sort of like angle like this maybe. All a matter, so like even when you're flying the ship, this is the back of it. This is the as is. So like when you get in, that's that. It zoomed out max. That's the first thing you do when you get in. That's how the ship is presented. You just have to be able to accept that blockiness, that whole blocky pattern to get it curved like that. To the torpedo bay where the actual door is inside of a torpedo, and just the curvature from the smoothness and whatnot. If you can look past how blocky it is, because that's just the way the game is, and that's just the way, you know, then yeah, man. Anyway, yeah. So I wanted to show that off. I take pride in my work, so once again I apologize if I went on a little bit too much, but figuring out sausage separation was not fun. It was not easy, but I did it. And now I just gotta push my ass to actually finish the saucer and finish the Enterprise D officially, because once again I know a lot of people have downloaded it, and I guarantee they're probably waiting for the time where I actually finish the whole ship, because the starter section is okay as its own thing, but it's nowhere near complete. Zoom out camera angles can be really interesting sometimes, because now it's not zooming out nowhere near as much as it was before. But I guarantee if we disconnect it again and reconnect it, let us zoom out again. Oh, at this point, I really liked how zoomed out it was before. Still, even that, like, that's not too bad. Yeah, the range on these freaking missiles too, or your photons or whatever, is good too, man. Anyway, so yeah, I kind of want to show that off. Yeah, I mean, good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Look at Space Stock War. There's so much there. Wow. So this has been a long stream. It's almost been 2 hours. Hopefully you've enjoyed, man. Just been talking about Trek and talking about my builds and stuff. Yeah. Hopefully, yeah, if you've enjoyed that. I know there's been a viewer in the stream for a while. Hopefully, having a good time. So in this world that we were in, I actually set up a few hidden target located signals. So if you don't know what this is, all you gotta do is simply just build this little thing. It doesn't have to be like this, but you build an antenna. You add some batteries and stuff, and you put target located, and there's some other things you can say, but try target located, and then check this out. What we're gonna do, it's in a safe spot too, because look at all the ships I have and stuff. I put them inside of these asteroids and stuff, so they're actually safe, and then we can keep spawning in enemies for our my ships to fight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer that to Space Pirates, and now we're going to start having some enemies coming in. And I'm going to go and transfer the other target located as well so we can have some enemies. But yeah, there's the Enterprise D right there. And I guarantee if it wasn't in the asteroid, she'd be shooting at it. Looking good, though. Looking good. Like Man Scoob, I could go for a super-sized Shaggy sandwich. Oh, boy. Ugh, that could have been better. My vocals were really, really on point before I went to sleep. I was going to record today. I was going to record Transformer impressions. Okay, so there's an enemy ship. Save me, teammates. Surprised nothing's shooting at. Are you telling me the defense platforms don't even have a shot? I'd be very surprised. Oh yeah, they're gonna start firing any second. Come on. Look how close it is. Come on, man. Okay, the Enterprise is engaged. You know, you almost feel bad for some of these ships and stuff. For some of these enemy ships. Look at the freaking phaser strip. That's all interior turrets. That's what again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 22 interior turrets on each side. And those firing, like those interior turrets aren't much of a comparison when compared to the normal turrets and whatnot. But when you've got 21 of them combined in one small area, man, that firepower adds up. And look at it. So you've got those firing, you got these firing. Like this thing can fight, man. This thing can fight. So again, I just need to, for the community and for myself, I need to step up at some point when I've done the large scale U.S. Enterprise, and I need to finish that. I need to. It's so good, and I just need to get it done for everyone else. It's funny too, because earlier when I was playing around with this, enemy ships would get one of the enemy gunboats got so close that when it got destroyed, its wreckage smashed into the freaking underside of the pylon, took out some of the phaser strip here, and actually cut a hole right through it. See, what you have to understand is this is light blocks, very maneuverable. You saw how fast this thing is and whatnot, and how maneuverable it is and whatnot. But that's one block. You know how easy it is, especially if it's not weapons fire, if it's a direct hit, because like ships get damaged a lot more when when another ship is smashed into it than maybe if it was getting shot at by a weapon. One block, man. It's built the way it needs to be. Like all of these proportions, like that being as thin as it is, like everything being as thin as it is and whatnot. That's actually how the ship is. That's just the design of it. But as far as that goes, all you need to do is if I still have meteor storms enabled and stuff, one thing, boom, right through it like nothing. Paper mache. Why I say like that? Paper mache. Fuck. Oh my gosh, let's go Bonaventure. Enterprise is assisting there. Once again, there's a total of 4 photons there on the phaser ship. 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top. But look at the firepower that has, and the distance too. That is some range, man. Once again, I love the Star Trek ships and stuff. I just love the nav lights. It just makes the ship feel so alive, and that's stuff I've never been able to do in any other game. Is have things like that, like that large scale U.S. Enterprise of mine. I have so much pride with that thing. Rotating Bazaar collectors, blinking nav lights, actual shuttle bay that can house my Type F shuttlecraft. Like it feels good. can't. It's in a video game. It's on my TV. I can't touch it. I can't reach out, but it's there. And the effort and the time and the hours are there. So that matters to me. Man, I love the UNS. Like, I love all these builds, man. The UNSC Redemption is just, wow, what a ship. Unfortunately, though, that thing shreds like paper, too. It does. It does. It really does. Once again, you almost just feel bad. Look at all the firepower. That's just one poor little ship. I don't know why I'm not getting anything more than gunboats spawning in, though. Like, cause I played this a little bit, like, earlier today, and I couldn't get anything more than gunboats. Like, where are all the actual okay, this is the Space Engineers enemies to a T. Okay, when you're trying to like build something and you don't want Space AI to spawn in, they're spawning in by freaking like waves. Like, I'll delete one rust freighter, and then I'll have 4 of them spawn in right after, like, not that much longer. And when I want them to spawn in, like, I want to, like, have a space battle or something like that, all we're getting is gunboats. Which are no fun. Excuse me. Because they're so small, and they get easily destroyed, so, yeah. Okay, I didn't fly the combat Phase 2 Enterprise, so I'll show you what that's like. Different nacelles, so a different look. Those triangles, or whatever you want to call them, for the Bazaar collectors, those are supposed to be a lot more like, they're not supposed to be as triangular, they're supposed to be a lot more like candy corn, like they're not supposed to be that. But, there's no way to make it, shaped better than that, unfortunately. Really cool, though. I love the Phase 2 Enterprise. And this is version 2, because I had to extend the length of the nacelles, and I did do some changes to the nacelles and whatnot. Yeah, it's just, these pylons are cool, man. They are. They are really cool. It's fun figuring out the formula how to do that. And it's just a different look. Definitely, it's not a bad thing. At the end of the day, it comes down to these ships are built out of light box, and it's, oh man, one of the nav lights at the back are destroyed, and it's easy for oh, I wonder something. If we repair it, if the clock's smoking, it means it might not be actually destroyed. Let's go. Aha! Go. Okay, I would have been actually kind of bummed if the nav light was destroyed, because that's a big part, that red and green lights. Look at that. Look at those phaser ships go. Let's go. Oh, yo, is the UNSC Redemption actually shooting at something? Fucking go. Let's go. Once again, the UNSC Redemption is like a battleship. And at some point, man, I will put that up as a public blueprint. It's been a while since I put something up as a blueprint. It's because I've been working on these 3 big projects. UNSC Redemption, right after that. First it was the Enterprise D. Then I was like, I need a break. I'm doing the UNSC. Then I did the miniature Halo Pelican. Then I was like, okay, UNSC Redemption. After UNSC Redemption, the exterior was done for that. I was like, okay, I need a break. Then I was like, I want to do the large-scale 2S Enterprise. Large-scale 2S Enterprise. Now I'm thinking about doing a freaking medium-scale 2009 Enterprise from the JJ films. I'm trying to push myself not to do that. Be like, no. I need to finish the large-scale 2S Enterprise before anything. See, here's the thing. Cyberpunk was supposed to come out November 19th. Really looking forward to that. It got pushed back to December. What is it? December 21st now or something? Now my birthday's on December 18th, but like, still just bummed, man. I was like, yes, let's go, Cyberpunk. Like I knew that was gonna be like the main thing I'd be playing for a bit. It just means I have more time for work like this, but still, like, gotta push myself to finish my projects. But yeah, man, like, stuff they sign. And it'd be different if I was doing like a custom build. I was coming up with my own ship and whatnot. Recreating Star Trek ships. I don't have that luxury. Uh-oh. Drifted towards an asteroid. I don't like that. The nacelles are like okay, like they are what they are. Because I wanted to incorporate the large ion thrusters just like they have for the my U.S. Enterprise. It's definitely like a really cool look how pointy they are. Like they're really pointy. They kind of stick out to the side, so I think it's cool. Oh motherfucker! He got some battle damage here on the side of the hull. It looks like did we lose a phaser strip? Maybe not. That's another thing too. Is these TOS ships of mine and whatnot. You look at it and you can see the thrusters sticking out to the side and the ones facing forward. Can't say anything about the impulse deck because that's the way it's supposed to be, the impulse engines. But you know, and then you have and let's just say that's a technology thing, right? Let's just say like for my medium scale Star Trek ships, that they do have visible thrusters like the U.S.S. Bonaventure. They have thrusters, you know, which can be, you know, bad. They can be easily targeted and destroyed. And that's why the Enterprise D, you can tell, like, that's the next generation. Like, there are no thrusters sticking out of that thing. That's all internal. You don't see the flames. Doesn't damage the ship. That's the thing. Enterprise D, the whole thing with designing the Enterprise D was the thrusters don't damage the blocks. So that was a big thing. Was making it so, like, it has no effect, like it's very safe. But the large scale TOS Enterprise, I had to use every little bit of inch space in the nacelle. Like the whole warp nacelle, if I were to like cut it open and show you the inside, holy crap. The layout I did it on stream too, so it's like oh my gosh, it's such a complex layout of like thrusters and like internal structures and stuff. And like, oh my gosh, it's cool. It's pretty cool. Nowhere near how an actual warp nacelle looks like in Star Trek, but like it's got the bits. It's got the good bits that's needed. I think I'm gonna have to call it, put on some flashing, and go to bed. Sleep schedule was so good until it wasn't. Going down, and we're going down fast. This angle. Fun. So yeah, that's the Phase 2 Enterprise. Again, really like it because it's not a Star Trek ship other people would do. The Phase 2 Enterprise is, you know, it's only known to I'd say, you know, real Star Trek, you know, real Trekkies and whatnot. Like Phase 2 Enterprise was something I was never seen on screen. I would have much rather preferred like Phase 2 Enterprise and is he gonna suicide? Oh my gosh! It's like when they start to die. Like when those ships are almost dead, it literally looked like it was, oh my gosh, it did suicide to the side. Look at that. Oh wow, it tore right through. See, that's light blocks for you. Look at all of that damage, man. I'm so glad I'm out of it. Yeah, the pylon is still attached completely strong though. There's not any block damage there. Lucky, man. Those pylons are, wow, that's crazy. Dang, look at that. Just skimmed the side and tore out the whole fucking hull. That's like something, that's like a one scene out of Voyager that I just can't think of right now. Oh my gosh. Can't go wrong with the classic, man. I try the color that I painted the Bizarre Collectors in for my large scale 2S Enterprise. I tried painting it, repainting the Bizarre Collectors for the TOS Enterprise here, and it just didn't look good. It didn't. It's just so. It's good, man. It's good enough, man. Like, it's good enough. Like, my Star Trek ships are good. They're good. It just doesn't feel the same anymore, though. Looking at this, comparing it to my large scale, but that's because, like, wow, look at that dent. It's not even like actual any block damage. That's just dents right in the middle of the hull. Oh my gosh. Like, this is a hexagon, man. It's not a circle. It's not like a perfect circle. It's like more of a hexagon, right? And that's the whole thing. And I've just run with that the whole thing for all of my TOS builds, and like all of them are full of that formula. And when I try and compare that to the large scale TOS Enterprise, which is a perfect circle, perfect proper slopage, you know, it curves inwards, like it, you know, it's widest at the front, and then it curves inwards from the sides to the shuttle bay. From the top, it curves downwards to the shuttle bay, and from the bottom, it curves downwards and then slopes to the shuttle bay. So, you know, it's got all that proper hull curvature and whatnot, and it's got the proper proportions, it's got the proper profile, and it's just not fair to compare it to this, because I was very limited to what I could do at this scale, at this small, at this size. It's 2 blocks high. That's it. You know, impulse engines there. The biggest thing with this is 2 by 2 by 2. Well, actually, it's 4 by 2 by. No, that's debatable. But anyway, like, so there's no middle for this. I can't have that. This is 2. This is 2. I can't have this right in the middle like it needs to be. Middle on the sides. I can't do that. I can't have the grill be 3 high like it should be, and then have the stripe in the middle. I can't do that. It's only 2. So I literally had to make it, okay, put it here. Oh my god! What? I swear, when these ships go down, they go on a suicide run. Look at that, man. It just cut through the saucer section like paper. That is bad. Like, firing missiles at the Enterprise wouldn't do that. It just went, no. It just fucking cut through the thing like paper. Down to half impulse, and that's not by choice. Oh my gosh. Can't believe we just witnessed that. That is insane. Just like I'm looking at it, and I'm almost thinking like that's lighting, and then you know that, but I know deep down that that's not lighting. That is an actual cut in the saucer section. Crazy, man. Crazy. That's the thing. These ships are built out of light blocks, man. They're fun. They're maneuverable. They fly well. You got great profiles. So I'm looking at this TOS Enterprise right now, and I'm like thinking, are the nacelles too low? Is it just me? Like, should they be higher up? What? I feel like it should be 1 block higher. But this has been the design. Like, I can't be like, okay, I'm going to change that now, because I feel like the pylon might be like, should be 1 higher. This is the iconic design that has been as is for so long. I think I might be just nitpicking. Man, Enterprise is putting up a fight. Wow, I just can't believe that, man. Just came in, cut off the whole fucking, just took a chunk out of the saucer section. Love it, man. I love it. Again, impressive what I've been able to do with such a small scale, but look at that, man. Just look at it. I wish I could spawn in my TOS and my large-scale TOS Enterprise, like, just comparing it. Like, it's just unreal, man. It's insane. It's insane how large it is. Anyway, I've been doing this stream for a very long time. I pretty much showed you every blueprint I got. I talked about it, like, you know, it was fun, man. I had a lot of fun. It's just nice to talk. Oh my gosh, I apologize. Yeah, so I have lots of, you know, stuff that I plan on doing in the future as far as builds go. I need to finish large scale into U.S. Enterprise. We are nearing the end of the exterior. Still a lot of interior work to do. Same with the UNSC Redemption. The exterior is done, but I do need to do the interior at some point. The Enterprise D is definitely one of the more up there projects as far as after finishing the Enterprise large scale to U.S. Enterprise. I need to push myself to build the saucer section for the Enterprise D and release the Enterprise D officially as the full ship. I do have plans to be building a Star Trek the Original Series Constitution class starship in miniature scale, actually small grid, and then after that I would be doing the Doomsday machine in large grid, and then I'd have a proper scaling issue, so I'd make sure that however small the you know, the TOS Enterprise would turn out in miniature scale, small grid, I would build the Doomsday machine, so a Constitution class starship can easily fly inside its maw. But yeah, so those are just some of the projects I have planned, as well as like updated, you know, Futurama Plan Express ship, and just lots of stuff. And I stream a lot of the builds that I do. I don't stream every second of the build. I still do some work, you know, just by myself and just have some tunes playing and whatnot. But I love the stream. It has been a little bit since I've done it, so you know, the stream is overdue. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this. I was talking for a long time, and it was fun, you know, just talk about my Trek builds and, you know, my processes and what the fuck. Why? Well, there's no drifting way for that wreckage. Good thing friendly fire isn't on. It's horrific. Oh my god. Oh no. They blew up the fucking thing. They blew up the warhead. Look, it blew the bridge right, the bottom bridge right open. Oh my gosh. Well, that's war for ya. You have to understand that it's such a small, like, when stuff like that happens, it sucks, but the overall, like, size of the ship and whatnot, like, the overall mass, like, oh, that chunk of the sausage section that got taken out. But anyway, yeah, I got into here. It was fun, though. It was fun. If you're new, please think of following for live 1080p gaming and voice acting. It's always a great time here at Voiceover Gaming. I'll be back with more streams of Space Engineers, GTA, Halo, Fortnite, stuff like that at some point. Yeah. Hopefully you had a great Halloween. I'm literally saying that now, but yeah, and it's getting colder outside, so stay warm, I guess. Anyway, I'm calling it. Thanks for watching, and as always, I hope to see you in the next video or stream. Till next time, peace.